ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome into another edition of Infection Podcast. Welcome into 2024. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on X at Nicholas M. Craig, and I'd like to wish a very happy new year to my good friend Brian with an I Aldridge. Hey, buddy, happy new year. How's it going?
Yes, happy new year to you. Everything's going good here. Of course, if you want to find me on X, you can get me at Boise Computer. Or if you want to get me anywhere else, at Brian Aldridge, GabGetter, Truth Social, whatever other places. Well, hopefully you had a good New Year's.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, this new chair I got.
I was going to say, did you get that for Christmas?
I did, yeah. It's one of these weird things, and this is something you went through this many years ago since you're an old man. But like you get to a point where you have a career. And you had a similar thing. You were successful in your mid to early 20s. So you don't need anything, like nothing that's obtainable for a relative to get you for a gift. But my old chair, as people saw, was my cat just decided she wanted to sit on it, so it got all clawed up, and I was like, I was
going to suggest, putting something on the back of it, because that's what I did with mine.
So I just bought a new one, or I asked a family member to get me a new one for Christmas, because it was something that I probably wouldn't have just bought myself because I didn't really need it, but it was a good gift, and it's pretty. It's got the footrest thing. I don't have it out right now, but it's got the footrest thing. This thing, look at this thing, Brian. It goes all the way back. I mean, I can.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So, not a sponsor.
As long as it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oops. That's the wrong.
Perfect.
That's the wrong button. There's two buttons. There's a recline button and a.
A comfortable seat. That's the thing here. This is a Lazy Boy brand chair.
This thing's comfortable, man. I'm
nice and comfortable.
I'm
I've got the
chilling.
back support on it that I added to it.
This one has that, which is weird. I've never. My other one doesn't have that. It's got the big kind of bubble thing, right where the butt part meets the back of the seat. So that was that. Did some traveling. Of course, we were off last week with me being out of town and everything being busy. So we're back. 2024, the year of infection.
Yeah, we can infect everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna infect your friends. So as we head into the new year, Brian, you've got a great story in here, and one I'd say probably one of our best sources over the last little bit has been GameIndustry.biz. I don't know who's behind this publication. They do a remarkable job covering the business side of the video game industry.
Yeah.
And they released this 2023 in the numbers chart for the video game industry. I think we need to go through the whole graphic. It's long. It's gonna be a long topic, but some of these things, some of these numbers are fascinating. You want to just start at the top here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's jump in, because if you look, they break it down to how we know games, console games are one thing, mobile games always makes a ton of money. It's its own thing, but then they also have these browser PC games, which are probably the puzzle style games, or
cookie
things
clicker,
buy coins in,
things like that. Yeah,
buy packs to make it so you can get through it faster. And then downloaded boxed PC games. Those are put together as either a cartridge you can go buy or something you buy a digital copy of it. But overall, $184 billion business in the past year. So it's a slight increase when you're dealing with business. It's still, or billions. It's 0.6% is still a decent number.
Well,
but it's up, which is a good sign with how the economy's been. The fact that it's not gone down is a pretty good sign for the industry.
That was going to be exactly my point. I mean, you're talking about an industry, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, an industry that is ravaged right now, and the fact that it is up at all, even at 0.6% year over year, is remarkable. But Brian, and for our audio listeners, we're going to explain all this. This is a great episode to watch on YouTube or Rumble, by the way. Mobile gaming. Anybody that says mobile gaming, mobile games are stupid, nobody plays them. How about 49% of video game revenue? $90+ billion, Brian, for mobile gaming. How about that?
Yep. Well, if you combine browser games and mobile games together, that would be half of the whole amount. I mean, that is 50%. And so all console games, all regular PC games together, combine, those equal half. So it's pretty incredible. People do seem to kind of just not take mobile gaming seriously, but I think the industries are, because that's where the money is at the moment. And so there was something interesting. If you go down a little bit, one thing I found really interesting was the boxed versus digital.
This is
Just
huge.
to kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown of where boxed media, which, of course, we always talk about GameStop and their struggling industry of trying to figure out, well, how do we make money, when a lot of it was these boxed games and then used games. The industry seems to be totally going to digital. And if you look at the numbers, the 1% for PC boxed, it's 1% of the industry. So box, something coming with the disc, anything like that, is 1% of PC sales, 99% digital, which is probably a lot of that Steam or Epic Games store there. But console, where it's easy to go in and buy digital, they have 17% willing to buy boxed there. So there's still probably those people who want to have a cartridge. Maybe they want to play offline with certain games. Who knows? But that one's still holding on to a little bit of boxed. But overall, boxed is 5% of the industry and 95% is digital. So pretty big difference.
I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm a little shocked that 1% is boxed. What games?
You expected more?
No, I expected less. I don't know that any game. I didn't
Where
know
do
that
you get a boxed PC game anymore?
So I was thinking about this, and what came to mind was WoW, because I think that's the last boxed game that I've seen that is still in stores like Walmart. I wish I would have. I wish I would have seen this graphic, because I was at Walmart today. I would have walked through the video game section and looked at it. Maybe I'll do that at some point this week. And report my investigative journalist findings back for our audience. But what else is available boxed? Nothing.
No, not a lot. Not that you'd want to keep. And that's the thing, is that if you walk through, when you go to Walmart, they do have a small wall, much smaller than it used to be, a little row, one side of boxed PC games.
So, like, here's a game
available.
This is I'm on Best Buy's website right now. Deathloop. I guess this is a Bethesda game. This is available Windows, physical. There's one left in my store. So I guess this.
Yeah.
So I guess you just
people doing it.
I wonder if it's a lot of gifts. Like, I wonder if, like, people are picking it up for. Yes, because the other thing you also see in the video game section now is Steam gift cards, right? And that's presumably what people would be getting, because you're not gonna have your grandmother gift you a game on Steam. That would be a very complicated and confusing task. But $100, $50 Steam gift card, that's a lot more feasible. I wonder if they're counting that. Could that be physical? It's not a game; it's a gift card, so probably not.
It'd be the actual boxed games. Yeah, so that's where I think you'll have people that are going in. You tell grandma, I want this game for Christmas. She doesn't have an account to go and gift it to you digitally. What's she going to do? She's going to go down to Best Buy or Walmart or whatever they have this, and if they have it available, she'll pick up the copy and hand it to you.
For PC games.
They don't. And I wonder though, for some of those, the box, maybe they're just a code inside of the box. And if they're considering that box, that's still a digital sale to me. But you're getting it in a box.
So here we go. This is good. So I'm on Walmart's website. I'm at my local Walmart, and I've searched PC games in stock, and I see GTA, Sniper 3. I don't even know how old this game is.
That's an old version.
It's very old. Civ 5. That game's been out forever. And then these kind of hidden these kinds of games, which I guess this is probably where the 1% is coming from, if we're being honest. This is what grandma's buying for herself. These puzzle games
my
that
mom
come on
would
CD. Yeah.
That's what my mom would buy. She wouldn't want to have a Steam account. She
There's
would just
no
want
way.
to be able to install it.
There's no way this is a physical copy. There's no way they're
doing
printing discs. There's no way.
Well, is there anywhere where it says on there there's a code inside of the box? I wonder if there's a disclaimer on there, because sometimes that's what they do.
No, because this isn't even a Steam game. This is an offline. This is a game that does not need video game format, physical.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go. So they're still doing it.
I guess.
I can understand for instance, if you go up to that Battle for Bikini Bottom, that's something where for kids, if you want to have it to where they're not online, maybe they're playing offline on their console, where you can just hand them a disc. That one says Steam.
I want to read what it says. Yeah.
I bet you that one says that a code is included.
Notice product subject. Oh, okay. So this is a game that
activate during the internet.
No, this is a disc, but it activates through Steam. Yep. I believe this one.
Yeah, pretty much activates it on your account, gives you probably a code, and then who knows? Maybe they don't even have a disc in there.
This one does not indicate that it is physical media.
Yep.
Interesting.
But would it register when you go and purchase that? Would it register in the statistics as a physical media service?
I don't know. No, I would say not. If you're redeeming a code, I would not consider that physical media. It's not.
Well.
So I guess there are still, but I mean, you're talking about slim pickings, Brian. I mean, Walmart of all places to buy physical media is going to be the best place. And GTA 5 again for PC. Now we're not talking consoles. A couple of old Civ games. And then I guess these it's these puzzle games. That's got to be what's making up the physical 1%. So that's the only logical explanation. Nobody is buying.
Which a certain generation is the more likely to go buy that.
Sure.
Because they don't even know what Steam is.
Yeah. So now I found this second number even more interesting. That was a PC that we were talking about. Console market. 83% digital? That's crazy.
I figured it'd be higher than that.
No, I thought it would have been way lower. What are all these stores doing?
That many? Well, no, I figure a lot of them are probably just selling the codes. I mean, I can't imagine them still having the.
They are though. Every single GameStop, every single Walmart, every single Target, every single Best Buy. If you're buying a console game, you're getting a disc. Most of them. Now you can also buy the card that is. But it's not in a box. It's just the card that you scratch for the redemption code. Like that's how a lot of the Nintendo Switch games are. Yeah. But I don't think that's not boxed. I don't think. I think it's.
Now, if you look at the numbers, though, I mean the physical games are negative 3.8% year over year.
Sure.
The digital was plus 0.0 or plus 0.8% year over year. So, they are dropping. Next year it'll probably drop more and more and more to the point of. Where they're going to be releasing consoles that don't even have a slot to put a disc in anymore. I mean, that's the point that we're getting to here pretty soon.
I assumed, and you know what they say about assumptions. I assumed that and 17% is not a small number, but when you think about it, unless you and yes, there is a version of the Xbox and a version of the PlayStation that is digital only. However, the base versions of those consoles have disk drives, and they came with disk drives. They were sold with disk drives. That's why I'm so surprised that the 17 is so low. Plus, you look at all of now I guess this is just new game sales, so it's not going to calculate used games or anything like that for an older console. I guess Brian, you buy a physical copy of a game, and then you sit on a screen on your Xbox or PlayStation for the next eternity, waiting for it to download and install from the disk, and then download a 40 gigabyte day one patch. I guess there's really no
where they're kind of pointless.
But there is one huge but here. There are still a lot of people in rural America that do not have access to high-speed internet. Now, it's not a vast majority of the population. T-Mobile and Verizon are now, and AT&T are now offering.
And even Starlink. Pretty much offers nationwide now for $100.
Well, yeah, but it's not available nationwide. You still have to be on a list, and they still have to approve you. You can't just buy a Starlink tomorrow. It has to be.
Up here.
I don't think it's for everybody yet. It might be, but you still have large swaths of the country that do not have access to broadband. We know people on our show that just in the last couple of months have gotten access to fiber. But prior to that, it was twisted pair bonded DSL. And this is, I mean, these are people
that very limited,
very limited, 3.5, 4 megabits. So it's just not, or no, 12 megabits, whatever it was, 3 megabits up or something like that. Not suitable for you got to do that stuff overnight. So that's why I'm surprised that the number's still not that high. Maybe even in those areas, people are just saying, yeah, I'll just buy a digital and let it download overnight, I guess. Maybe that's just what they're doing.
Where people are getting to. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that even when you buy a physical copy, you still have to download the amount that you installed from the disc. You have to re-download again. Yeah, for the most part, you have to re-download the whole thing again over the internet. Yeah, I mean, the disc really is pointless up to there. So we had talked to it. Let's look at some of those best-selling games of the year, because Hogwarts Legacy is one we talked about quite a bit. A lot of controversy surrounding it. It was the best-selling game of the year in the United States and the UK. After that, they do vary quite a bit between the two countries. Of course, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, always one of the top. If you look at number 10, though, Starfield.
Yeah.
That one did pretty well. I'm surprised that Star Wars Jedi Survivor was above it. Diablo 4.
Well, it's not been out that
very
long.
Good sales.
Starfield's only been out a couple months.
And it could be that, if given more time, it would be much higher up on the list.
Can I jump in, though? I want to talk about number 3, because there's an asterisk next to it. Zelda, the new one, Tears of the Kingdom. That's only physical. It says digital sales not included. That probably would be that might be the number one best-selling game if digital was included.
Because on the platforms that those are being played on, digital is a huge part of that. The Switch.
Do they sell it? I wonder if they don't sell it digital. Let me look. They have to.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
I don't want the Wikipedia article. I'd like to go to the Nintendo website and see what I can do.
Yeah, you can purchase digital, physical.
Okay.
And a physical collector's edition. So, yeah.
I bet you
have a digital that you can do direct download.
I bet you there's a lot of legendary sales for that game. But the fact that, that's number 3 with no digital sales is pretty nuts. And that is, it's not a new game, but I don't think it came out until, a couple months ago? 4 or 5 months? 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, it came out over halfway through the year.
So, let me get an exact release date on it. Okay, it came out in May, so it's not about the entire year, but without digital sales, that's pretty remarkable. So Nintendo's still chugging along over there. Madden, you would expect. Diablo, you would expect. Spider-Man, you would expect. These are all
because they're very dedicated
franchises.
To like Madden, NFL, 24.
Star Wars is the same thing.
People buy those ones every year.
Yeah.
So go down to the Metacritic top 3. I wanted to point something out here. Only one of the games on the Metacritic top 3 were even on there. Now, Baldur's Gate 3, I've actually been discussing with my wife about getting that for the co-op version.
I've heard it's phenomenal.
I've seen the incredible ratings, but that didn't become available, I think, on the Xbox till the last week or two or something like that. Ridiculous. I think it was on PlayStation before that for a little bit. People have been playing it on PC, but it's not on these top sales. But if you look at the ratings, one of the top games out there right now. And I'm really interested to play it because I heard it's a really, really in-depth and fun game. So, but that's not even on any of those lists. Pretty interesting. Only the Legend of Zelda, which has an equal score as Baldur's Gate, is even on any of the lists. So.
Well, and it's interesting because you look at the top 10 selling games and it's all very well established IPs, and that would make sense because obviously it's volume. But then you look at the Metacritic score, and 2 of the 3 are by significantly smaller studios that don't have those resources. So the idea that, and these weren't indie games, let me be clear, but the fact that these were the fact that these are smaller studios shows that there is still room for that. You don't
Yep.
have to be Nintendo or Activision or Ubisoft or Blizzard to produce a game that people like. Now, you're not going to be in the top 10, but nevertheless, that this is pretty impressive.
Well, and if you go down, let's look at the mobile market, because we talk about Tencent a lot. If you look at their top games publishers,
Mm.
the Tencent is what, a couple of those combined. I mean, just about three of those to get of the other top three together is close to what Tencent is.
Yeah.
And NetEase and Tencent are very similar. They're both part of the controlled Chinese government, publishers group. And so those numbers, I mean, Tencent just has a huge percentage of the worldwide publishing of games. But if you look at the top countries, China's number 2. So Tencent is making probably a majority of its money from, or a huge amount of its money from the U.S. sales.
That was going to be exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you've got 4 companies in the top publishers that are Chinese based, and the United States is the number 1 market.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
And so, yeah. And now I'm trying to think, what are these worldwide downloads? Okay, so they got spending versus downloads. If you look at downloads, India is at the top for downloads. Now, they don't really spend money, but they have the most downloads.
It's probably mobile. It's probably mobile.
Yeah, so they're doing a huge amount of playing of games, but they're not spending the money that these other countries are. Because the U.S. is half of the downloads of India, yet we're 20.4 billion for the market.
Well, and I
almost
think,
double, the third.
Yeah, well, and I don't really know enough about the economy in India. I would assume it's a very big free-to-play market. There's a lot of poverty in it, and yes, there's poverty in the United States too. But there's a very small middle class in India. You're either pretty wealthy or pretty poor, from what I understand about their economy. So that might explain.
Well, and even
and plus they've got the largest population.
Garena Free Fire. I've never even heard of that game, but it's the top downloaded game. Well,
I've heard of Subway Surfer.
With Subway Surfer. I've heard of it, but I've never played that.
Neither have I.
It's kind of funny. 2 games that we've never really touched are the 2 top games. Of course, then there's Roblox.
Roblox, crazy. A free-to-play game, 200 million downloads. Candy Crush, you would expect, which is Activision.
1.14 billion in spending on Roblox, so it's pretty big.
And then top 23, Monopoly Go. They really hit have you played Monopoly Go?
My wife has. I've watched her play
fun.
it. I haven't played it.
They hit a real good one with that. I don't know what any of these other games are.
Yeah, just random ones. Monster Hunters now must be.
Monster Hunter. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, that's no, Monster Hunter's a Switch game, or it was.
Well, they have, but I wonder if Monster Hunter now
is a mobile game. That
is a variation of it. I wonder if it's a mobile one.
That would make sense.
Now they go over the most covered games, and if you look, Starfield was the most covered game as far as online articles. Diablo 4 was after that. Now, if you look at Starfield, we talked about they were number 10, I think, in spending in the United States, but that was being released halfway through the year.
Not even halfway through the year. It came out 3 months ago.
Yeah, 3 months ago. Cyberpunk still talked about, but they did a lot of fixes. They did a lot of changes and updates, and they put out a new, kind of equivalent to a DLC that was written in Unreal Engine rather than their proprietary engine.
Yeah, so, no, it's not Frostbite.
Fortnite still, but I think that's just kind of constant news with Fortnite, making updates on a regular basis. Still a lot of people playing it.
But look at this, though. It's down 24% from where it was last year.
Yeah. Well, and then like Baldur's Gate 3, if you look, it's 2,175%.
Yeah, it's because it was never talked about before.
year over year. Yeah. Kind of a weird number. Same thing with Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. 3,371% year over year.
Yeah.
So,
which equates to
pretty
the
crazy. But you can see the ones that are kind of fading: Genshin Impact, Overwatch, Elden Ring, even League of Legends. They're down 7%. Minecraft's down 8%. Spider-Man 2 is up, but that one must be kind of a newer one as well, as far as in the year. Fortnite is down 24% year over year. So it's definitely losing a lot of coverage. Now
Sure.
they're still number 4, but they're still being covered. I wouldn't say they're dying.
You know what's so funny, though? You look at the Starfield number. This game was so hyped and so talked about that it's only up 410% year over year with 53,000 articles written about it. Isn't that crazy?
But now, let's look at they have top 10 games on TikTok. I don't really consider that. I don't really consider that to be the way to judge. I think there's a lot of people that put out Fortnite videos and little TikToks of them. GTA 5, 2.8 billion TikTok videos for that. Roblox, 1.8 billion. Minecraft. And then FIFA. I don't know who's watching FIFA TikToks.
FIFA is incredibly popular.
Is it pretty? I mean,
the thing that the big thing on FIFA is the card reveals. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
Oh, okay.
You buy the packs and you get the players. It's essentially like buying baseball cards but digitally. That's a very big thing that people do with FIFA.
And then Call of Duty, Genshin Impact, EA Sports,
which is essentially
FC.
FIFA.
Was that that's their soccer or that's
new
football club?
That's new FIFA because FIFA lost the licensing last year.
But it's soccer, right? Their football club's the European version of football. Okay. Yeah. And then Mortal Kombat 1 and Marvel Spider-Man 2. So kind of definitely a mix. It's not all one type of game.
No.
Now, go down to trailers.
One other thing before we move to the trailers. What this shows me is games like Fortnite and GTA and Roblox and Minecraft, the top 4, those are games that have little moments that are tailored very, very well to short form videos, which is what TikTok is. And this is part of why does Fortnite have all these stupid dances, Brian? It's ridiculous. Who cares? It's because people want to watch it. It's funny. It's engaging. It's something that people want to watch. You notice, Call of Duty's on here, but it doesn't even hold a candle to Fortnite. I mean, you're talking nearly 3 billion views versus 915 million. It's still a lot, but it's not even the same universe as Fortnite. It's not even close. And it's these games that these games are tailored. Minecraft's an old game, obviously, and Roblox isn't necessarily brand new, but they're tailored to this kind of short form content, which is why a game like Fortnite generates hundreds of millions of dollars a year worth of revenue, because you scroll through TikTok, which I will still say I have never downloaded and never used. But Instagram or any of these other services, that's what you're seeing. And it makes you want to play it. It's free advertising. Imagine how much Epic would have to pay to get 3 billion views.
Yep.
I mean, it's nuts.
Well, okay, so let's look at the most viewed trailers, because if you look, the number 1 trailer was released how many weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. So in the past 3 weeks, it has more than doubled its number 2. Because if you like 38.5 million trailer views for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and that came out much earlier in the year. Yeah. So that's a build up over time. Look at League of Legends, the Heartsteel music video has 31.1, and then there's Grand Theft Auto 6, which at this time was 101.6, and I'm sure it's much higher now.
Absolutely.
I'm looking here really quick to see over 163 million so far. Yeah. It was released 4 weeks ago.
So in a month, which goes to show you that. Well, I guess we know what's 2025 that comes out. I guess we'll know what the video game charts look like at the end of 2025 in terms of revenue and downloads for that. Surprised that I don't know what these music videos are. There's a whole bunch of them. I don't really know what that means. Is it like DLC or something that's a musical? Got a custom music score?
It might be. I don't know. Maybe it's music that's in the game.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And they put a video with some action of gameplay or something like that.
Possibly. Maybe that's it. Interesting. What else we got?
And then they've got the top YouTube influencers, which I don't really.
I don't know any of these names.
I don't even know these people.
Nope.
I can't recognize a single one of them.
I'm a little pissed that I don't see Infection Podcast on here.
I know. And I can't believe they left us. Maybe we're right below.
Who is this?
Was it Compot?
Who is this guy that plays one game? What does he play? What if he
Yeah,
plays
he's done
Minecraft?
325. So he's done 325 videos, all covering one game.
Let's see
He
who
has over 500,000. Was that half a million views or 500 million views?
Oh, I was right. And he's a Romanian YouTuber. His videos aren't even in English.
Yeah,
That's
still got a lot of
fascinating.
views. And what's he cover?
Yeah.
What games he playing?
It's Minecraft.
Oh, well, there you go.
This video came out 12 hours ago, Brian. It's got 666,000 views. This guy's popping. He's got almost 15 million subscribers. That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
What's
Cypher? So number one, can you look up Cypher PK?
Yeah,
he plays. He's got over 1 billion views and just has made 664 videos.
Yeah, let me look up who that is.
But he's more of a variety player because 25 games, across all of the videos.
Oh, he's one of the reaction guys.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't actually play
Well,
a lot of games.
now looks like playing a lot of Fortnite. But there's a lot of the reaction thing too. Yeah, there's a lot of Fortnite content. A lot of Fortnite content.
Well, it still gets views, obviously. I mean,
He's got.
a
It's
billion
funny though.
views and 664 videos.
How does he have 1 billion views? He's only got 808 million subscribers. He's
Must
got.
have gotten shared at in the right places.
Yeah, I guess so. Interesting. What else we got on this chart?
That's, I think that's it. So
excellent.
right.
Yep.
So cool. Yeah. So that's kind of the state of the industry. We'll have a link in the show notes if you can go. It's one really big, tall infographic that you can stream through and view, especially if you're listening and not able to see the numbers. So go check it out. Another one we have is, now this is by Visual Capitalist, but it's kind of another visual view of 50 years of video game industry revenues. And so I wasn't sure if you'd find that interesting, but they're counting from 1970 till 2022.
Mm-hmm.
But it really shows you the breakdown of when mobile splits off about 2007. There was this handheld market that kind of existed a little bit. It disappeared and everything went mobile. You have the ability to pull that up on your screen?
Yeah, sorry, I was struggling with it.
So, I mean, you've got the early on arcade games, Nintendo games, console games that were early on Atari. But you can see at about 1991, you started having a split off. It started in 1989 when Nintendo launched the Game Boy.
Sure.
But you really see kind of a branch of that handheld market. Mobile didn't exist at all because there weren't mobile phones like that. Arcade is still kind of trickling in there, but then PC opened up about 1989 as well, same time as the Nintendo. But mobile, once it opened up, I mean, that thing has dwarfed everything else. I mean, you've got VR, which is at the top there a little bit, but mobile's $101 billion. What, $101 billion is what I'm seeing here, business?
I am seeing the same thing in 2022, yeah.
Compared to everything else. So, and those numbers seem to match up with what that other infographic was showing for the current. But this one was a pretty cool one because it showed, different things that happened, were released. The pandemic kind of made mobile gaming jump up really crazy.
You know what's going to be interesting to see is what happens with the handheld market. You've got the Steam, and I know these are small devices, but you've got the Steam Deck. You've got Logitech's little thing that they make. You've got PlayStation coming out with some some handset. Asus makes a pretty popular one. It's obviously not going to have a huge dent, but I wonder if you'll see another little growth there for handhelds.
Where it actually splits off and be visible again.
But let me ask you
this.
this.
You can't even see it.
But let me ask you this. Where the hell's the Switch?
That's what I'm wondering is...
Because that doesn't make any sense. How can Zelda be the third best-selling game of the year, but the handheld market isn't even on the graph?
I mean, are they not considering that handheld anymore?
They might be are they considering it mobile?
Is it it might be considered mobile since it's digital.
But it's not a phone.
But it has the ability, it has like Wi-Fi and things like that. I wonder if that's what they're considering, whether or not it has the ability to be online.
Let me pull the graphic off. Let me do this.
But that is kind of strange how they've broken that up.
Let me put this graphic in here so we can look at it and I can browse through the article. Yeah, that's. I don't see Nintendo in here at all for the Switch.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what to make of that. It seems like I'm not saying I don't think there's an error in the chart, but something is not being categorized correctly because there's no way that marketplace. There's no way that there's no way Switch is in the handheld.
What do you think if they consider it a console? Because it is its own limited. It acts like a console.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. It's probably in consoles.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking handheld. They don't consider. Because those are individual little things. Maybe they just branch it off like that's Nintendo's current console.
I guess that's
the only console they really have right now. Not going and buying a Wii U anymore.
No, I don't think they're making new games for that. So I guess you're right. It's got to be under console. But I mean,
so
go ahead.
I was going to say we'll have the graphic in there. People can go check it out.
I want to make
a lot more numbers.
I want to make one other interesting observation on this. VR. You saw a pretty big peak in the last couple of years, but that's dropping. And I think that trend is I have a VR headset. I've played with it a couple of times. And obviously the Apple Pro, the Apple Vision thing is supposed to be coming out this year. It's like $1,600 or some ridiculous amount of money that nobody has. So I don't think that's gonna make a huge dent on it. But I'm really starting to wonder if VR and AR, at least right now, is kind of stuck in the it reminds me of like 3D television, where it's cool and some people get it.
I've got the pair of glasses, so I have the ability to do it, but I don't even have the Blu-ray player, 3D Blu-ray player hooked up anymore, because what am I going to watch on it?
Well, dude, I mean, I haven't touched and I've got the Facebook one, the Quest 2. It's a nice unit. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's just nothing pulling me to play it.
There's the industry really did a big push for it.
Huge push.
I mean, a $5 billion has been put into that system as far as hardware and everything else, but I just think there's not the uptick that they were hoping for. There was one in our economy section. There's one group that's I think going out of business, and they were saying it was because of VR not taking off like they were expecting. I don't remember which one it was, but that was something where they were really kind of pushing for VR, and just hasn't become the main source of what people want to use.
It is. I think it's a fun thing to show people. It's a fun thing to maybe play every once in a while. I tell you what, my experience has been great with it. I've got a couple of games on it. I've really enjoyed playing them, but it's not something that when I'm got some free time, I'm like, oh, let me go throw on my VR headset. I think that's what the industry struggles with. And I guess Apple's going to try and change that. And if there's anybody that can do it, it will be.
I think a good device needs to come out, or something that's lower profile that doesn't tie you down. I think that's
the Quest is. My Quest isn't tied to anything. Yeah. I mean, it's completely wireless.
I think you just need to get it to where the hardware isn't as bulky and gets more common.
Yeah.
And then people will be willing to use it. Everything's been a pain to use for the most part up to now.
Yeah, and unfortunately with Apple's product, it's going to be so damn expensive that I don't think it's going to be a very small. And this whole metaverse BS that Zuckerberg and Facebook keep talking about, I still have yet to see anything that looks like a crappy Zoom call. Practically that you're I'm in the VR, I'm in the metaverse. Like I still don't know what that means.
Well, look how much money the Meta or Facebook lost in that whole debacle. I mean, Zuckerberg had to apologize because of that miscalculation that he made. Because he thought the same thing that everyone else is thinking, it was going to be a big deal, and people just aren't interested.
And will it be a big deal in time? The answer is unequivocally yes. I just don't know when that time is.
Yeah,
it's not right
now.
Not
quite yet.
No, it is definitely not.
So,
All right, Brian, we're about 40 minutes in. Where do you want to go from here?
well, I want to talk about, there was a leak that happened here in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
I think kind of linked to a leak that happened a while ago, but GTA 5, the source code, I mean, it had some GTA 6 files in there as well, but the source code got leaked.
Hmm.
And this is something where they were putting out there the source code for sale, and there ended up being kind of a weird back and forth to where it ended up being sold for just $2,000. So what ended up happening, though, is there was a group of people that pitched in from, I think, some Discord group, a modding group, and they ended up putting together $2,000, buying the source code, and then someone from that group who didn't even put money in to the whole thing took the code and then tried to turn around and sell it for $6,000.
What a
You know,
scumbag.
they didn't even. Yeah.
Don't trust people you meet online.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to right now. Especially don't meet them in person.
Yeah, definitely
If
don't.
they say to go meet you in some town,
Don't fly 1,100 miles to Seattle, Washington, and stay in the same house as them. Sleep in the same bed as them.
Same bed, yes.
I mean, that is just lunacy. That is completely unbelievable. I can totally see some scumbag from a Discord server doing that, though.
Yeah, they would. And so this guy tried to turn around and sell it. No one would buy it from them, even when they lowered the price. And instead, a member from that group that paid the original $2,000 just leaked the code out, so that guy wouldn't be able to continue. I guess being a scumbag. So yeah, this is where they release it. So this is the GTA 5, supposedly all of the GTA 5 source code. Which, will we see modding take a turn? One thing GTA 5 and GTA has kind of embraced the modders, with 5M and some of the other groups. They brought some of them onto staff, and they're opening it up more to that. But GTA 5 is kind of going to be dwindling away. It's still being played, but when GTA 6 comes out, I would assume most people are going to move their things over to that, because I think it's going to embrace modding better than GTA 5 did. Plus, they have the Red Dead or the GTA Online, which is a different code base now. So it'll be interesting to see, if they're going to really do much about this.
They will.
Hacking.
Well, I don't know about hacking, but I know what they
Legally,
will do.
they probably will.
Well, the Rockstar is whoever this guy is, this Astros guy or whatever. They are going to track. Somebody in that group is going to rat this guy out, rightfully so, because he seems like a total douche. And Rockstar is going to sue the pants off of him.
Well, and let's just really quickly, I don't want to go into the crime law section, but it is GTA related. Remember that GTA 6 hacker?
Yeah.
So he had his criminal case, went before the courts, and he got an indefinite hospital order. So he is, they're putting him in a mental hospital for life because he stole data from Grand Theft Auto 6.
Wow.
I mean, talk about crazy. You could kill somebody and get less time. But he's going in for life to a mental hospital.
You can walk into a CVS in Portland, Oregon, and ransack the entire store, and the police won't even stop you.
I know. But here you got, this guy is 18 years old, part of a hacker group, and part of the issue is he said, well, I'm going to continue to do this even if you release me. Does that mean you send an 18-year-old to life in prison equivalent?
It's the UK.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was kind of crazy.
That is pretty nuts.
So he's going to a mental hospital for stealing from a company.
Yeah, go ahead. Kevin Mitnick made out pretty good, I'd say. He didn't get sent to a mental hospital. Now he's a cybersecurity pro. He's all around the country charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for cybersecurity seminars. He made out pretty well.
I feel like this kid isn't going to be doing that anytime soon. So.
No, I would say not.
But yeah, that shows you how seriously they take this. The last person who got in trouble for it is on a life sentence. So, They
Yeah,
will
they're
definitely, and all these people's names are known. Their Discord is known. There'll be very soon that they're all facing some sort of illegal charge.
there are a couple of these, and I'm not in a hacker group or anything like that, but there just seems like going after these big companies is going to become a much tougher thing to do and get away with, because all of this communication is happening online. All these guys are talking in Discords. Some cases they know each other personally, very not physically, but they know the intimate details about these people's lives. Like they know people, and the feds, at least if it happens in the United States, the feds will know that they can pinch some guy in a Discord server that knows him, threaten them with some crazy lawsuit, threaten them with jail time if they don't rat out whoever the person is. And that'll be the end of it.
And one
this
thing
is going to
too,
become a zero-sum game very soon for these guys. With these big companies, you get away with the smaller guys.
and one thing too, with how they do tracking of communication on the internet nowadays. You remember when they were trying to prove the hackers? There were some Russian hackers that did something years ago, and the FBI went after them and then built a timeline of exactly when they did everything. And I thought it was really interesting when they were stepping through it, because they're like at this, and they gave the exact minute. They said at this time they connected to a VPN, and then they did this, and they were stepping through everything that these hackers were doing, supposedly, on encrypted lines and everything else. But most people don't realize, we have one here just south of us in Utah, a data center that records all data coming in and out of the country to a data center. So if they want to reverse time and say what happened at this minute on the internet, they can do that. It's a huge amount of data. But if they're able to do that, then they can turn around and say, well, okay, we have an encrypted set of data coming through here. Let's use whatever we have to break the encryption on it, and then we'll know exactly what was transmitted. And that's what it took them a little while to do it with these Russian hackers, probably because they had to decrypt the data with their quantum computers. But, they broke down all the communication and knew exactly everything that was happening back and forth. So if they can do that, I promise you, Discord's encryption is not good enough. Whatever
I don't even think Discord is encrypted. The chat's not encrypted. It's not peer-to-peer.
Even if you VPN connect to them, they're going to be able to reverse it and figure out what you were doing.
Yeah, I'm sure Discord will be very willing to comply to a subpoena.
Hand over whatever they want.
Yeah. I don't think they're interested in. Discord is not Signal or Telegram. They're not. They're not interested. They're not. Their goal is not to protect privacy, which is fine. I mean, that's okay.
And they're not going to go and die on the hill trying to protect it. So. Do you want to? So, at the end of the show, do you want to talk a little bit about Disney and this whole copyright thing that's popped up?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting.
So we have a lot of. So January 1st, we had some things fall off of copyright. One of them is that original Mickey Mouse, which was, remember the Mickey Mouse that's on the steamboat,
sure,
and he's hopping around and everything. So that has now entered public domain. One thing that's interesting with that is they call him Steamboat Willie. There's been a number of games and horror films, or at least one horror film so far, that have released that are using that character, because you can now use it. It's no longer held under copyright. There's been a number of video games.
What the hell is this?
So that's just a horror film.
This looks like a high school video class project. This looks terrible.
They had to act quick. Okay. They probably took a couple weeks to record it, I'm sure.
Wow.
But if you look at the video games, I'll find you. There's been some video games that have been done. I'll try to find a link for you. Okay. But there's video games that they've been doing based on this character that actually look pretty good. So let's see.
Yeah, and so the way, just for folks that maybe are not in the United States or don't follow this, so when a company like Disney invents whatever it's called, Steamboat Willie, this guy or the other guy, you can copyright that, but it's not an indefinite patent. It has a period of time on it. For example, it was a couple of years ago that Winnie the Pooh is actually eminent domain now. Now you can't call him Winnie the Pooh, but the character is now imminent, is now no longer, I almost said imminent domain. The character is no longer protected under trademark, and it can be used essentially for free. And you're seeing a lot of stuff from the 20s, and it'll be the 30s soon, where this. I
put a video on there for you. This is a game that's being published here soon. It's based on that.
I'm sure Disney's going to love this. Yeah, Disney's going to eat this right up. Walking around with guns and hammers.
This is an early prototype. I've seen a much farther along one.
Oh, this looks
has
fun.
Really good levels to it.
This looks like what's the game? Cuphead. It's got the same art style as Cuphead. Similar. Yeah. Oh, this looks interesting.
I'll find you a little bit newer one because this one was released 7 months ago. There's one that has a lot better. I'll find that and put that as the thing. But yeah, it's called Mouse. It seems to be well done. That one's not thrown together like that horror film. Let's see, Mouse trailer. I'll look for a newer one. Okay, here's one that was 2 weeks ago. I'll put another video on here that's a little bit better for you. This is an actual gameplay. There you go.
All right, let's take a look. Let's see what we got here. Mouse, as it's called. Let's see. Do we have any audio on this?
Yes, this one has audio.
Well, something tells me Disney's not going to be a big fan of that.
I know. Yeah, lots of violence. But you saw there was quite a big difference in the 7 months from that trailer to the one you just saw. They've made pretty good progress.
This actually looks kind of good. Like it seems like if this was like a $15 game, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah, I wonder. Let's see. I'm trying to see where it's available to purchase.
I don't think it's available.
I assume it'll be on Steam.
I'm sure it will be. It's definitely a PC game.
Mouse on Steam. Here we go. So it is going to be planned release date 2025. So it's still. They don't have a price on here, but you can add it to a wish list. I'll put a link to the Steam page as well, so you can check it out if anyone's interested. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. They did a good job. Cuphead, you mentioned it earlier. They sold really well.
Yeah,
it was very popular, very difficult game to play, and I assume this is kind of going for that same feel of. It's definitely a shoot 'em up in the style of just one shot kills. To where you're going through levels, kind of like what was the one we played a long time ago?
Oh, look at this other one. There's a horror game that's based on Mickey Mouse. It's called Infestation Origins.
Oh yeah, that's another one I was looking at. Mickey Mouse Infestation, which has more of a guy in a clown head, mask.
Yeah, but it's definitely
this one there was
Mickey Mouse.
Here, I'll put another. I've got a trailer for this one as well. You can.
Check it out. I've got the trailer right here. So I don't want to play the audio in case there's like a crazy jump or scare thing or anything in that. Yeah, a lot of this stuff, Brian, you got a lot of stuff from you had stuff from the 1910 era. Now you got stuff from the late 1920s. You're going to have a lot of stuff over the things from the 30s and 40s over the next couple of decades that are going to be in public domain now. And you're going to have a lot of people assuming that, it's Mickey Mouse, it's Disney, and it's not. It could not be further from it, but that's the way that it works.
Well, and this is something one of my sons and I have been talking about is the whole, he really he's reading Dune right now.
Oh, okay.
The whole Dune series. When's that going to be coming out of copyright? He's read Lord of the Rings. All of these will be coming out of copyright within the next however many years. Well, what are you going to do with Lord of the Rings? all these games and all these things that have been put out are all based on one book that was released, 70 whatever years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are all coming out of copyright. It's going to open up a whole new world to where if you want to create a Lord of the Rings game, you don't have to pay those fees anymore. You can release the Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it's 95 years, I think, is the number for most of these.
I thought it was 70, but
no, it's more than that because we're talking about games from the 20s.
Well, there's certain rules. Some of it's 40 years after the death of the person who did it. But
That's true.
I was kind of talking with him. What about when it's just a company that releases it, not an individual?
I think it's 95 years.
Yeah. So, but that's something we're going to be seeing more and more of, because we're now at a point where something digital or something audio visual is being created. That's not just a book. So, getting videos, a lot of cool different things coming out that they're capitalizing on. They can't make money in certain ways on it, but I think that Mouse seems like it's done well. Infestation looks like if it's going to be more of a cheap game.
Looks like kind of a control game.
Yeah, but Mouse looks like it's being done very well, and that's where, when things like this come out, why not release if you have, that's something that art style is really popular. The gameplay looked like it was pretty smooth. I could see people actually playing that game and having fun doing it, just like Cuphead.
Yeah, very much so.
All right.
Anything else you want to hit real quick?
Well, let's talk here really quick.
Yes.
I just want to mention.
Can we got to do this real quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm cutting you off. E3.
Yeah,
we forgot this happened in the last couple of days. E3 is over. It's completely gone.
Yeah. So they have gone through and reversed it. I have the book here.
The book. Okay.
Where you had said after E3 2025 will be digital only, which you were talking. I remember having the conversation because this was 3/28 of 23 that you had talked about this.
Okay.
And we were talking about the possibility of them not coming back. But you said if they do come back, that E3 2025 will be the last. Will be digital only. They won't do an in-person one after 2024, which.
But I'm wrong.
They're not doing.
But they're not doing anything
to a point. Yeah, they're not going to be. But you were saying maybe they'll do a digital only, but it's being totally abandoned. They're not going to be doing anything with it, or trying to continue it.
You know what? Okay, so I'm reading this article. GameIndustry.biz is a parent company of ReadPop, which are the people that run PAX. So that actually makes a lot of sense that GameIndustry.biz is such a well-run website, because those guys do a hell of a job with some of the other stuff that they do. Sign of the times doesn't really make sense. It wasn't really, E3 was so much different than PAX and some of these other cons. It was really more of an industry trade event, and you have two things competing there. It's expensive for the vendors. Those would be the big companies, and most of them have pulled out. I don't think Microsoft is gone, Sony's gone, and Nintendo was gone. But also on the other side, from the journalist side, these media outlets are hemorrhaging cash. Are you really going to drop? You're sending a reporter to LA for 5 days. You're going to drop, with expenses and hotels, $3,000 to $5,000 to send a reporter out to E3? Probably not. Yep. So you have kind of those two things which are different that kind of just make up for the perfect storm. Because up until just a few years ago, the public couldn't even go. I mean, it wasn't an event that the public attended versus PAX, which, yes, there's media there, but it's a majority of the attendees are just regular people. Oh, they're not regular, but they're just they're not industry people. They're people. They're not industry people that are there. They're just gamers and other various folks that are attending those shows. So it's just a different audience. It's a regular con versus a trade show, more of which is what E3 was, and that's the difference.
Well, and now I think that we have a much easier time of getting something out on the internet and having it seen, where before they were relying on the industry, coming out and talking about it in magazines, talking about it on their blogs. We don't even really need that organized kind of release of information anymore. I mean, just look at, as we talked about earlier, what Grand Theft Auto did in a month
Yeah,
with their trailer. They reached a huge amount of people, and they didn't have to do it through any publishing company. They didn't have to do it in any special way.
correct.
They
It was
just put
done.
it out there, and people are looking for that information. So I think the big people on stage realize they don't need to go through these channels anymore, and they're going to reach the same audience because the
Nintendo
audience
figured.
is now in their discords. The audience is now following them on X. They're doing all these things to where they have a direct access to the end user that used to be blocked off kind of by the media outlets.
And Nintendo figured this out like a decade ago. I mean, they've been gone from E3. Probably not a decade, probably 7 years ago. Nintendo quit going to E3. They started doing Nintendo Directs, and they have seemingly done very well with that. So sad for the video game industry, for just kind of the whole hype around E3. It's obviously been waning in recent years, but she dead. She gone. No more. E3. It's gone.
Yep. So we'll see going forward, what's going to happen. But
yeah,
with some of these other ones, E3 was the one that was mostly for media, not for people. But even PAX, we've talked about how PAX hasn't been the same with all the mask mandates and all the different
Are they still doing
restrictions
that?
they've put on it. They're supposedly going to be, remember the last one? There was the back and forth where people were upset because they were trying to lower the mask mandates. And then people are like, we're risking people's lives with, these mask mandates or, by allowing people to not have to wear masks.
Let's see. The Boston one is taking place in March. Let's see.
See if they'll try to say, hey, you don't have to wear a mask inside of the
There's
building.
no
again.
way. Okay, security, safety, and wellness. Here we go. I don't see anything about masks on here.
Well, they left it off last time, and then there was a big uproar. So we'll see if they try it again. I'd be interested to see if they actually get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing about. No, yeah, nothing in here about masks. So yeah, we'll see.
Yep, we'll find out. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we head out?
No, sir.
All right. Well, if you want to find me, you can find me at Boise Computer on X or at Brian Aldridge on Gab, Getter, Truth Social. Or if you go and check out my blog, biteoftech.com, you're more than welcome to go to our blog for the whole podcast at infectionpodcast.com. Go to the upper right-hand side. You can check out our Discord. There's a link there that'll take you to a place you can contact Nick or I directly. Maybe you want to play on one of our 11 ARC servers that we have running. Or if you want to submit some topics in the show news channel, you're more than welcome to do that and review it before the live show. If you want to watch the live show, you can do that through Twitch or YouTube, or you can watch the upload after the fact on Rumble. If you want to listen to our audio-only format, that's available after the show is uploaded and done. At the lower right-hand side, there's a lot of platforms and devices you can use to connect and listen there. If you are going to be listening or watching on Rumble, that means the show notes are already there. And so you can click and there's a video and audio player built into that page, and then links for all the different things that we discussed throughout the show. So if you want to maybe watch a video or go and see some of the source material that we're referencing through the live show, it's all on that page and easy to access. If you want to support us, there's a support menu option up top, or you can go to infectionpodcast.com/support.
Yes, you can. Brian, thank you very much as always. We will catch up with you next week. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it. As Brian said, you can check out all the stuff on our website. If you want to check out what I do daily, you can check out the Wilmington's Morning News Podcast. It's available on your favorite podcast app, or check me out on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. If you missed any portion of today's illustrious program, head on over to our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.